Good afternoon. My name is Kaija. Before every other title, I like to introduce myself as a Christian because I believe that's the most important thing about life. But I serve at Next Media. Next Media is a holding company for brands that I'm certain that any of you in the room has interacted with in one way or the other. That's NBS, Nuka, Afromobile, to name but a few. I serve as the Chief Content Officer for the group, so I oversee all of the content for the different platforms that we disseminate content through to the different target markets. But I'm also the General Manager for our streaming platform, Afromobile, that's taking African content to the rest of the world. And I'm also the General Manager for our production arm, which is Next Production Limited, that produces documentaries, TVCs, and all of things related to content. I think for me, from a content perspective or from a media perspective, is Africa has more than enough wealth for knowledge and wisdom. Our biggest problem is we are so undocumented that there is not enough ways to pass and channel this information down to the next generations.
Yeah.
So as we vie for this transformative change, for the mindset shift, we need to be very cognizant of the fact that the people that are influencing the young people on the continent, in our countries, are documenting the things, whether visually or through text or whatever forms of communications they can access, and that's how they're able to influence our people. When you look at the young people today in our countries and in our markets, they're able to want to be certain things from other countries and markets because they have seen those things and somebody is consistently talking to them about those things. But Africa lacks consistency, and we need to be very honest with each other. We start conversations and drop them halfway. We need to be very consistent if we need to help the young generation to carry forward the things that we believe are right for us. We have identity crisis because nobody is talking to us about who exactly we are. You know, the few people in this room, the Ugandans in this room who are privileged to have been raised by grandparents or parents that were practically present will tell you that they know certain things. I'm privileged to have been raised by a grandmother because my mother was a working mother, but she passed lots of knowledge down to me. You know, she would always tell me, my grandmother is a Muganda, I'm from Toro, but she would always tell me, Omchala teisa bwacho. Wana abachala Uganda tetukola bwetuto. And I carry that with me everywhere I go. I know to tell people that we don't behave like that. We don't pass by strangers. It's not who we are. We greet people even when we don't know them. And that's why the world applauds us as hospitable people. But we need to be very, very deliberate on documenting our cultures, on documenting our value systems, so that the children that are coming 100 or 200 years after us have something to reference. Because we are reading everybody else's literature. And that's beautiful because we're a global village. We need to know how to interact with everybody else. But we must first have our own identities. And I would like to applaud our Nigerian brothers or the brothers from West Africa. They never lose who they are, regardless of where they go in the world. They remain true to themselves. You will tell a Nigerian when you travel to South Africa, to the States, to the UK, anywhere in the world, you'll know that this is a Nigerian or a Ghanaian or anybody from West Africa. But it is sad, and it makes me very sad, because I live in a country where children are beaten for speaking their local languages.
And given sacks to wear.
That's very sad. And in as much as it's important for us to learn every other language that the world is offering us, we need to carry our own with pride. You know? You find people telling their children, you cannot speak this. We speak English here. Why are you doing that? Because eventually we will not have an identity. Our identity is in our languages. Our identity is in our food. Our identity is in our dresses and in our cultural outfits. And we need to maintain and keep that. But we cannot do that if we don't document it, because the knowledge is just going to keep fading away if nobody is putting it in video or text or anywhere. And our brothers in other countries are doing that very well. I mean, look at the French and the Germans, very advanced, but they never lose their languages. They're not allowing anybody to influence them. Look at the Arabs. You know, I was reading the story of the Arab sheikhs and how they transformed Dubai. They've never lost Arabic because that's who they are. But we try to imitate so much from everybody else and lose ourselves at the core. And that's going to affect us terribly and terribly if we don't wake up to the occasion and change that.
Wow, beautiful. You had Lwazi standing. I'm about to take his chair because you're like, yo. She says we're losing our identity. Someone just travels to Zanzibar here and comes back saying, you know, you wanted to stay or you wanted to go. Or, you know, losing the true core identity of who we are. And she goes on to say documentation. I think I read her saying, you know, until the lion learns to write, the story will always praise the hunter, you know. Are we writing? Are we documenting? He's been talking about fireside places and things like that. So I love the fire and the passion I'm hearing from Kevin over there. What you?